ready to rumble. Good evening and welcome to Clinton Central High School tonight, where it is a Clinton County matchup, a showdown on the hardwood volleyball match tonight on the ISC Sports Network. Tonight is presented by Healthy Communities of Clinton County and the Coalition. It is a mental health awareness night where basically we're going to have an infomercial with some volleyball behind it, but that's how we do things. Tonight's game is also brought to us by the Frankfort Eagles, number 976, where they are people helping people. By Day and Ginda Funeral Home, proud supporters of high school athletics in Clinton and Carroll County. By Healthy Communities, making the healthy choice the easy choice. And by Mulberry Telecommunications, Mintel Fiber Services offer the best gig in town. Tonight's pregame show brought to us by Day and Ginda Funeral Home, where they put family first. It's Laura Archibald and Sean Walker. We're back for another exciting night of volleyball for you. And, hey, it's a Clinton County matchup. Let's do it. It's Mental Health Week. What do you say?
It is. It's my favorite week of volleyball every single year, Sean.
The Hot Dogs come into tonight's contest at 10-14 overall. They're 1-4 in conference play. The Clinton Central Bulldogs 3-14, and they are, I've got this wrong, 2-4 in conference play. There we go. Update my notes. Let's talk about some of our players to watch tonight before we get into some of the mental health topics. Our players tonight are brought to us by Mintel Fiber Optic Services. So our Mintel Fiber Fast players are Carolyn Queen for the Frankfort Hot Dogs. We've got to see her up close and personal the last few weeks, and man, she is looking really, really good as a freshman.
She really is. It's amazing to me how good she is. And I was just talking to you prior to the game starting here about how good Frankfort's defense is overall. But she stands out in that sea of really good defenders for the Hot Dogs. She stands out above all of them. So to say that she's the best defender on that team is really a compliment for her, because they have multiple great defenders on the Frankfort Hot Dog team.
And what an honor. Ranked number 17 in 3A in Diggs and number 1 in the Sagamore Conference. And you've got some very talented teams in this Sagamore Conference, especially the top of those standings with Tri-West and Western Boone and Danville and Lebanon. And Carolyn Queen is right there in the mix with all of them. For Clinton Central tonight, the player to watch there is Courtney Serber. She's one of those players that just does a little bit of everything on the floor. You see the statistics there, 66 kills, 23 aces, and 112 digs. Just whatever it takes to get the job done.
Yeah, she's a super athlete. I had the joy of coaching her probably late elementary, early junior high. And she is just a fantastic all-around athlete, very coachable. She's one of those kids who never stops. You're never going to see a ball hit the ground that Courtney doesn't go after.
We talked about tonight being a mental health awareness night, and let's show you. You've got the new number that you can text is 988. Reaching out is a sign of strength. There is hope. Tomorrow needs you. If you or someone you know is struggling, you can call or text 988, and it takes you right to the suicide and crisis hotline. And I thought that's great because you had the number. A few years ago, there was a rap song put out where they put out the 1-800 number, and that was the name of the song, and it brought awareness to it. But this is so much easier to remember.
Yeah, it's the 911 for mental health, 988. So much easier to remember, 3 digits. And the other thing I love is that you can text it because, as we all know, teenagers don't they don't like to talk on the phone, right? They'll text, they'll Snapchat, they'll make videos, but they don't want to talk to somebody on the phone. So giving them that texting option is super vital in reaching services.
Hey guys, if we could come to the studio shop for a minute, we want to show off these really cool shirts tonight. And so Healthy Communities of Clinton County puts this on every single year. They have a new design each year that comes out, and what's really cool is you provide these shirts for the players and the basically the whole team, varsity and JV, to be able to wear and bring awareness to tonight. And not only are they wearing them, we're rocking them in here. Yeah. We've got it on our backdrop on our screen. I'm pulling my Vanna White here for a second. But tell me a little bit more about the message each year, Laura.
Yeah, so every year we design a new shirt. A lot of times the Youth Rise Youth Leadership Council helps us design these shirts. We want to have a different message every year, that we are consistent throughout the season. And then the teams wear them for the warm-up shirts. The coaches wear them. The managers wear them, so that those messages are getting out to the entire crowd. And then those T-shirts get worn all year long by those athletes, and so we keep spreading that message, and that's really important to us. So there's also an important message on the back of these shirts as well.
Yeah, we've got that too. If we could flip to that real quick, and we'll read through that real quick. It says, "You are loved. You are enough. You are a gift to this world. Your story isn't over yet. Call or text 988. And with that, we'll step aside. When we come back, we'll get volleyball underway from Clinton Central High School.
Meet Henry. Henry is hip. Henry loves the new Mintel TV streaming app. And check out Helen. With features like Cloud DVR, Restart, and Look Back TV, Helen never misses her favorite shows. And this is Bob. Bob can't contain his excitement for the new Mintel TV streaming app. Bob is proving that you actually can teach an old dog new tricks. What do you say, Bob? Does the Mintel TV app get a thumbs up? All right, Bobby-o. Mintel TV, the next generation of awesome. Upgrade today.
Frankfort Eagles 976 has bingo every Wednesday night. Early birds beginning at 6 p.m. and regular bingo starting at 7 p.m. Packets are $25 and includes every game you need to play. They also have Saturday bingo the first Saturday of every month, with early birds starting at 4 p.m. and regular bingo starting at 5 p.m. Big game payouts each game with 3 to 4 chances to win different jackpot games each day. Great for individuals or groups because everyone enjoys winning lots of money. You must be 18 years or older to play.
Welcome back to Clinton Central High School, the site of tonight's volleyball presentation here on the ISC Sports Network. Our starting lineups tonight brought to us by our friends at Ardente Dental, where healthy smiles start here. And the starters tonight for Frankfort: Ashley Zhang, Ella McAtee, Morgan Harrington, Brooklyn Perry, Justine Thomas, Jalen Smith, and Carolyn Queen is the libero. So we will see her tonight as well for head coach Kia Rushton and those Frankfort Hot Dogs. And there's Queen being announced there. She's easy to spot. She's in the white jersey.
Correct.
On the other side for the home team for the Clinton Central Bulldogs, their starters tonight: Carly Davison, Chelsea Rydens, Courtney Serber, Olivia Perry, Alyssa Empson, and Georgia Evans for head coach Melissa Perry. The last time that we had the Clinton Central Bulldogs, Georgia Evans was our Frankfort Eagles Clinton County Player of the Game. We'll see if she can repeat that honor here this evening. She had a standout night against Carroll. Our officials for tonight's broadcast are sponsored by Aaron's Flooring, offering luxury vinyl plank, carpet installation, and more. Visit aaronsflooringllc.com for more information or call 601-4145 for a free quote. You see it there on your screen. Stacy Payton, Chris Rickenbach. They'll have the call for you this evening as these two county rivals get set to face off. These two teams obviously play every year. There's been a few times in the history where they've played multiple times in a season because of in-season tournaments, things of that nature.
But this is always the best week of the whole season because it's Frankfort and Central on Tuesday night and Rossville and Prairie on Thursday night.
Frankfort is 8-3 versus Clinton Central over their last 11 meetings. They've actually taken 8 straight matches versus the Bulldogs. That's going back to 2013 and 14. Prior to those 8 losses in a row, though, Clinton Central had won 3 straight. They'll try to get back on those winning ways and see if they can break that streak here this evening against their county rival. We want to thank Clinton Central for wearing the white jerseys with the nice numbers that we can see. As if you were tuned into part of our pregame show there before we signed off, we're in the studio, so we get to do these games remotely. Sometimes it's difficult to see. Not that I'm putting down my alma mater in Frankfort, but it's tougher to see those blue numbers on those black jerseys.
It is not easy.
Good thing we know who all of them are. First serve underway. Carolyn Queen with the overplay, and Jalen Smith does a good job of just keeping it alive. The set, the kill opportunity, and misplayed off the hands of Ashley Zhang, and Clinton Central's on the board first. I believe that was Courtney Serber that time, our player to watch, who came through with the kill. Give her 67 kills on the season now. The set from Smith goes to Thomas. Davison able to fire that one through. Get another point for Clinton Central. So the Bulldogs looking really good here early on, Laura.
They are, and I think that first kill was actually also Carly Davison, so 2 in a row for her. I think Courtney's still in the back row.
Good call. The ponytail was covering that up for me.
Yeah. They actually are both built very alike, so it's hard to tell.
Misplay there from Clinton Central, and Frankfort will get on the board with their first point. Lily Rockhold will check in for the Hot Dogs.
And she is leading the Hot Dogs in kills for the year. She had a rough night at Prairie the other night, but then came alive in Game 4 for them. I think she had 7 kills in Game 4 and really gave them a good shot in Game 4.
That was Addie Keck on the serve for Frankfort. She checked in a moment ago as well. Central sends it over. Smith, quick set, and we've seen her master that this season. She did it a ton against Tipton. Clinton Prairie did a good job of kind of covering it up. It only got them a few times, but it works early here against Clinton Central.
Yeah, Clinton Prairie really did take her out of that game, but Tipton, for as good as of a match as that was, they really let her get away with that all night long.
Another point here for Frankfort. That was Courtney Serber with the hustle, trying to get over to cover it up and could not. You know, Laura, tonight being the first match this week of our mental health awareness, tell me a little bit about the initiative and why this is so important to your guys' cause.
So we work with a lot of the mental health providers, and we work with a lot of people in recovery or working on their recovery, and a lot of times mental health and recovery go hand in hand. And so we know that one of the things that we are really short of in not just Clinton County, but rural areas in Indiana in particular, are mental health providers. And so being proactive and doing as much as we can on the prevention side for mental health is super important. And one of those things that we can do is decrease the stigma related to mental health so that people aren't afraid to talk about their mental health, and they're not afraid to go and get treatment for mental health and not wait until they're in a crisis situation. We do programming in all the schools. One of the things that we've been doing over the last school year and this school year is working with North Central Health Services to rewrite all the suicide prevention policies for all 4 school systems and the crossing in Clinton County.
You know, it's awesome. I know as a man, I speak to this as, you know, when you're raised or being raised, it's, you know, toughen up. Men aren't supposed to cry. You hear a lot of these things growing up, and I'm not blaming my parents or people in my family. It's just, it's kind of what goes along with it. And so I love the way that the messaging has changed over the last few years. They now have athletes and people that men kind of look up to. Not that men are the only ones who suffer from this. I'm just saying from my perspective, it's nice to see players like Kevin Love come out and say, hey, I'm struggling with mental illness and I've had to get help while playing in the NBA because this has affected me. And I think that gives guys a voice to be able to say, it's okay to not be okay. You know, other people are suffering from this too. I can go get help, and it's not a sign of weakness.
Absolutely. Actually, the Colts are one of our sponsors this year, and that's through a grant that we can do some of these mental health game things. And Darius Leonard for the Colts has been very vocal about mental health. And, you know, it's really nice to see professional athletes stepping up to the plate and saying, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to need help. It's okay to have emotions and feelings. And I think you're right. I mean, I think it's okay for women, obviously, but it's been a little more acceptable for them to talk about their emotions and feelings than men. But I think finally we're getting a narrative where it's okay for men to talk about their emotions and feelings as well.
Back to play here on the court as that hit a little too strong Gives the point back to Clinton Central as we are locked up pretty close here in set number 1, 7-6. Pancake from Carolyn Queen on that dig. We saw her the other night. I felt like she got robbed a couple of times because it looked like she got her hand under and they said it hit the floor, but man, she is everywhere.
She is.
I think if you're another team, you are probably best suited to not attack her off the serve-receive game because she's such a good passer that it seems like every time she takes that first ball, she gets it right to Smith and they're in their offense.
I would agree with that. I think if you are serving on the other team, your goal has to be not to serve her. Although, as a team, Frankfort passes very well on serve-receive. They don't make it easy for you.
Well, I know a year ago, Ashley Zhang was the libero. She was that defensive specialist, and so she's kind of gotten into that role, and now this year she's out of it. So when you try to attack her, she still has been in that position.
Yeah, she still subs in the back row on a regular basis and plays, in a defensive specialist position. And she plays a vital role on that team, and she is a great server for them as well.
Good swing there. Number 8, Olivia Perry, the sophomore, gets the kill. What do we get here? We got a whistle. Double hit. Violation call against Frankfort. Now Clinton Central out to a 9-8 lead. And that'll draw the ire of the fans to let them know you can't do that. I love student sections, man. They're great. They come up with some of the greatest chants and cheers, and even when they don't come up with them, they perfect them.
It's always fun, these county games, too.
Yeah.
They really get worked up. I think the crowd was really rowdy the other night for Frankfort Clinton Prairie.
Yeah, they got warned a few times. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
To calm it down, but you had students from the student section going out and doing flips in between games, and they were trying to hype everybody up.
Clinton Central is blocking very, very well this first game of the match here.
Bulldogs just 3-14 on the season, but don't let that record fool you. This is a team that is off to a fantastic start here in set number 1. One thing I failed to ask Coach Perry is it just feels like maybe they missed out on an in-season tournament. They've only got a couple of opponents left, which will give them 20 regular season matches, where when you look at Frankfort's side, they've already played 24, and they still have another week to go, before sectionals.
I noticed that as well, and I wonder if they dropped a tournament and then didn't pick one up for some reason.
Yeah.
That's a really low number of games in a season, so I'm not exactly sure why their game count is so low, or maybe a tournament got canceled on them. I'm not sure.
Tonight's game is brought to you by the Frankfort Eagles, number 976, serving the community since 1905 with over 900 members locally. The Frankfort Eagles offer something for everyone. For more information on who they are and what they do, visit FOE.com or stop by the Frankfort Eagles at 408 North Main Street in Frankfort. I saw a social media post the other night. I loved it. The shoulder pads had been delivered and the jerseys were coming. They were almost here for the Youth Football League, so they can get them playing tackle football before they get to 7th and 8th grade, which is kind of been the downfall of Frankfort's football program the last few years, is other schools and communities are so far ahead in where they get started. So it'd be good to get the Bantam and I forget even what they call those leagues, but get those rocking again.
Absolutely, and that, I always remember when my son was young, they played tackle football from, I think, 3rd grade on. So to see that getting going again is really important, I feel like, for the Frankfort football program.
Great effort for Clinton Central. And the reason I bring up those pads and jerseys is the Frankfort Eagles paid to have all those purchased to get that program up and rocking. So hats off to the Frankfort Eagles, their board, and everybody involved.
The Frankfort Eagles does a lot of amazing work here in this county.
Miss hit there by Thomas gives a point to Clinton Central, and these Bulldogs have a 5-point lead. This serve into the net, unforced error, gives a point back to Frankfort. Maybe that'll be a momentum swing here for the Hot Dogs. As Brooklyn Perry checks back in, Queen comes out. We get a violation here, a double hit against Clinton Central. 2 straight points to the Hot Dogs. Big left-handed swing that time from Eden Speaks. That's 54 kills on the season coming into this one, but put a little too much mustard on that one. Melissa Perry doesn't get too deep into her bench. You'll see Allie Adair, Eden Speaks, who's on the floor now. Those are the girls who will come in and play outside of their normal rotation. Frankfort, the exact opposite. You'll see 11 of their 12 players that they've got listed at any point in time.
They substitute a lot. They have a very, very deep bench for the Hot Dogs.
This kill here comes from Jalen Smith, I believe. Or was that Chloe Mowdy?
I think it was Chloe Mowdy.
Serve hits the top of the net, and just like that, Frankfort has rattled off 5 straight. We'll see if we get a timeout here from Clinton Central, and we do. Tonight's game is brought to us by Day and Ginda Funeral Homes, where they believe in putting family first. As active members of the community, they know that when dealing with the loss, seeing a familiar face and being treated like family is important. Day and Ginda Funeral Home will serve your family in a unique and loving way and be the family you need. For more information about the services Day and Ginda Funeral Homes offer, visit dayandginda.com. It's always important, too, going back to our mental health night and our awareness, is to know when to ask for help and that it's okay to ask for help. Mental health is just as important as physical health. Asking for help is the first step. You are more precious to this world than you will ever know, and you are enough. And again, I love the messaging. It feels like it's changed over the last few years. Again, how they're reaching out and hitting specific groups, but then making sure that it's a confidence-building message.
Absolutely, and it's okay to ask for help, and everybody's ask is different, and when you need to ask for help is different for every person. So there's no, rule of thumb for that. So one person may need help at one time when another person doesn't need it until a different time, and that's okay. Whenever it is that you need help is when you need help, and so don't be afraid to reach out and ask. Make that call, dial 988 or text 988 whenever it is that you need to reach out to somebody for assistance.
16-13 now. Frankfort make that 17. They've rattled off 9 straight points to open up this lead here. It was 13-8 at one point in time.
Jalen Smith doing a great job at the serving line. I jinxed her.
That gives the point back to Clinton Central. And Olivia Perry, the sophomore, heads of the service line. She's got 18 aces on the season. Goes after Queen. Rydens hits it across the net there for the Bulldogs, and it leads to another point. So it's a first set of runs here as each team kind of taking their turn to rattle off. 3, 4, 5 points in a row. Set outside to Brooklyn Perry, and good connection that time between Smith and Perry. We've seen her hit really well out of the middle this year, Laura. We've seen her struggle a little bit from the outside, just trying to get the timing down, the arm angle. That time it looked perfect.
It did. It looked great that time. A little bit lower of a set, a little more the height she's used to when she hits out of the middle. I think that probably helped her on that one.
It's served by Morgan Harrington, gives Frankfort another point. We'll get another timeout here in set number 1. I want to go back to the T-shirt, mental health T-shirt if I could. Again, across the front this year, You Matter. I love the Miami Vice colors. It's like bring back the 80s.
It's the 80s look,
the
yeah.
neon colors, but I love it there. You Matter. The back of the shirt, a fantastic message. You're enough. You are a gift to this world. Your story isn't over yet. Call or text 988 for help. I think that it's just so awesome, again, that you guys are doing this. We do it every year. We bring awareness to the cause. And as somebody, I say this every year on the airwaves, as somebody who's been affected and lost multiple people that I cared about to suicide, it's always depressing to me in that way to think all the things they missed out on in their life. They took a permanent solution to what is a temporary problem. And, you know, things that even as a teenager, things that affected me as a teenager don't even matter today.
Yeah, it's
You know?
so true.
And we feel like those things are so big in the moment, and it's just taking a minute to breathe. Find some resources for help if you need to, and sometimes we're our own worst enemy, right? I mean, like in our own brain, we tell ourselves things that aren't true.
And we make things so much bigger than they really are.
For sure.
Right?
I know some people are very religious, some people are not, and, you know, it's kind of a stigma in its own right to talk about it, but if you weren't valuable, in my opinion, the enemy wouldn't be attacking you, right, and trying to tear you down.
Correct.
And so whether you're a religious person or not, I feel like the enemy wouldn't be after me so much and so often if I wasn't
didn't
valuable.
matter,
I
right?
matter. So
That's right. You matter.
I
That's
love
what
this
the shirt says.
You matter.
I love that the student section, if you notice, large amount of the students have on the purple.
Yep.
For mental health awareness. Some of the old mental health T-shirts they have on from other years, and just out representing in the purple.
The whole month of September is Mental Health Awareness Month. Even though September is coming to a conclusion, we want to make it important all 12 months of the year.
Yeah, we really try to do that. We do these mental health games, started with volleyball, but now we have done cross country, soccer, volleyball, basketball, wrestling, softball, baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, like
You guys
7
even went
sports,
over to
I
Purdue,
think.
right? I mean,
We have. We've been to Purdue for softball and Purdue for soccer now.
What's cool about that is even though you guys are called Clinton, you know, the Healthy Communities of Clinton County, you'll go to other counties to help spread the message because mental health, it doesn't have borders.
Absolutely.
It affects everybody, and
Yep.
you guys will take your resources and programs everywhere to make sure there's help.
Yeah, you know, we want to help save lives everywhere. We're going to Seeger next week for a mental health volleyball game. So we're really excited about that, and any place that we can reach out and help, that's what we want to do.
5-point lead. Frankfort 2 points away from taking this first set. Clinton Central says, oh, no, not so fast.
Nice back row attack from Courtney Serber. Go to their go-to player when they're down by 5 in the first set.
Chelsea Ryden's on the serve for Clinton Central. Frankfort goes to the Lily Rockhold. Nobody able to get to that second ball for Clinton Central. Now set point for Frankfort. And Frankfort student section letting Clinton Central know that Lily Rockhold is a freshman. It's always important to keep that status, right?
Exactly.
Frankfort unable to play that one out of the net. 24-20. We've seen Clinton Central go on a few runs here in set number 1. We'll see if they've got one more in them here. We had a fantastic match last week between Frankfort and Tipton. It took extra points in every single match of that game, I think.
I think so.
Or three of the four.
Yeah, it was a great match.
Big kill here. Olivia Perry. Clinton Central down just 3. I always loved the Bulldogs floor since they redid it. I love the two-tone look, the green in the lane there.
It's actually 3 tones, isn't it?
You are correct.
Yeah.
3 tones. I meant 2-tone inside the three-point arc. See how I'm trying to correct myself. 25-21 as Frankfort earns that final point, and they will take set number 1. When we come back, more mental health awareness, more volleyball right here on ISC.
Some see a student athlete working on a shot. We see a powerful lesson in persistence. Some see a student preparing for success on an exam. We see a student athlete preparing for success in life. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Hey there, I'm Jake Query.
And I'm Derek Schultz.
Derek, do you know what we do not have in common with Ted Lasso?
What's that, Jake?
We made it beyond 3 seasons.
Oh, we're going to make it like 30, 40, 50 seasons. As long as your heart holds out, that is. Query and Schultz every Tuesday night. You can watch it right here on the ISC Sports Network, on our YouTube channel, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, X, podcast, whatever it is. Just call it whatever you want.
Twitter doesn't exist.
Just make sure Tuesday nights, Query and Schultz, 7:30, all season long right here on the ISC Sports Network.
We outlasted Twitter.
We did.
Frankfort Eagles 976, serving with the community since 1905. With over 900 members locally, Frankfort Eagles offers something for everyone. Golf leagues, bingo, concerts, kid parties, cookouts, and more. For more information on who we are and what we do, visit FOE.com or stop by Frankfort Eagles at 408 North Main Street, Frankfort, Indiana.
We welcome you back here. There is a shot of the Frankfort student section that traveled tonight to cheer on their hot dogs here at Clinton Central High School, where Frankfort takes a 1-0 lead at the end of set 1. Sean Walker, Laura Archibald on the call for you here this evening. Laura, tonight's presentation is about mental health. It's about You Matter, getting that message out to the public. While we have a volleyball game kind of going on in the background, we use it as our backdrop to help spread the message this evening. But something to point out are the warning signs. And so for people that don't know, what are some of those things to look for in a loved one that may be a warning sign?
So changes in eating habits, change in sleeping habits, sometimes a slip in grades for student-age children. Sometimes they have disruptive behaviors that they've never had before. Hanging around with different friends than they've done in the past, change in their activities, showing interest in things they didn't show interest in before, or suddenly they lose interest in things that they've always loved to do.
We just want you to remember that setbacks don't equal failure. You are more than an illness or a diagnosis. It's okay to rest, and it's okay to not be okay. And if you're someone who recognizes a warning sign, what's the best way for you to help? Can you reach out to 988 as well and tell them about an individual?
You can reach out to 988 about another person. You also can reach out to a trusted individual in that person's life. So if you're a student, you can reach out to a trusted adult. And if, it's someone in your family, reach out to another trusted adult. If it's about a teenager or a young adult, reach out to their parents or someone else in their family. You can also reach out to that person's physician if you know who their physician is.
Please don't call my doctor on me. He's on me already.
Lucky for you, Sean, I don't know who your physician is.
Sweet. 1-1 here early in set number 2. Queen with another fantastic pass. Great block at the net, though. Man, Chelsea Ryden's there.
Clinton Central blocked very well in set 1. as well. Statistically, they don't look like a great blocking team on paper, but they have blocked very well tonight.
That pass off the mark. Perry unable to get to it. Clinton Central ahead now 3-1. Yeah, for Ryden, she comes in with 26 blocks before tonight's contest, and she's been there a handful of times. This kill ruled to be out. Give another point to the Bulldogs. Ooh, and that one lands on the line. What a perfect serve that time.
That was a perfect serve.
Ryden's goes back corner. Queen and Harrington converge on it. Clinton Central just sends it over. Smith goes quick on the set, excuse me. It works again for Frankfort, 5-2 the score.
Clinton Central has to be aware of when Jaden Smith is in the front row. It's one of her signature moves, is that jump set right over and dump into the middle of the court.
You know, Jalen's sneaky good as a sophomore. 90 kills, yet she's the setter on the ball club. 31 aces. 466 assists coming into tonight, and still more time to go in this season. She's already over 1,000 career assists in just her first 2 seasons. Frankfort's got a good one.
They do, and she is, you know, you don't see somebody with that many assists have that many kills very often. People have to be aware of her ability to do that right there.
She must be a fan of campfires, because as soon as she sees one, she is sending that ball over right into the middle of the floor. Now she'll earn the serve.
She will continue to do it as long as they give it to her.
A rare serving error there from Jalen Smith. There's a point back to the Bulldogs, and just like they did in set number 1, they had a pretty good lead going, up 4 to 5 points at one point in time before dropping that first set. And that's something that Coach Perry said, is she feels like the girls have a lot of talent, but when teams come back on them, they get down on themselves and start making little mistakes. And that's the thing she's trying to get this group to understand is you've got the talent. You can't let the little things, you know, turn into big things. And 1 point, forget about it, move on.
And that's exactly what we saw happen in set 1. They were ahead most of the first set, but then as soon as they lost the lead, they just kind of fell apart.
Zhang comes back in now for Frankfort. Ashley has on the pink shoes. Her sister Tiffany we'll see from time to time as well, and they are very hard to tell apart.
They are, but I did get schooled that Ashley wears pink shoes. How hard could that be to tell apart? So I was like, thank you for pointing that out. Thank you.
It's something I noticed later in the match, and wait, we got it now.
Yeah, we got it. Pink shoes.
The swing there from Justine Thomas, and she's looked really good this season. I mean, she had a nice, I think it was game number 2 versus Clinton Prairie, where she just kind of dominated that game for Frankfort.
I thought she had a great match against Clinton Prairie. She had to be one of their leading hitters in that match. And just behind Brooklyn Perry for kills on the season.
Frankfort, a little miscommunication in the back row there as players kind of look at each other. Neither one of them went for the ball. It's a young team for the Hot Dogs. Tiffany Zhang, the only senior on this squad. You look on the other side of the floor, and it's very similar for Clinton Central. Courtney Serber's a senior, Georgia Evans a senior, and Cecilia Shipper a senior. But other than that, it is all freshmen, sophomores, and just a handful or a couple juniors even on this squad. when you've got a ton of youth like that, you go through some growing pains, of course. But 2 to 3 years from now, you always say, look out. Because this team, if they stay together, they stay committed, keep playing, that 3-14 record turns into 14-3.
Yeah, and, you know, you have plenty of kids on both sides of the ball that are getting lots of playing time. So, you know, when they are juniors and seniors, it's not going to like it's going to be they're coming on to varsity with no experience. These are going to be juniors with 3 years of varsity experience. So
7-11. Oh, kept it alive, but just couldn't get enough on it there as it goes out of bounds. And now Frankfort makes a couple of substitutions as Rockhold comes back in. Zhang will check in as well, and that is Tiffany. There are no pink shoes in that shot. So the senior for Frankfort on the serve.
not really sure how we missed that, Sean.
That's pretty easy to see once it's pointed Ryden's that time tried to kill with their back turned to the net. Had a hard time getting around on that ball.
I should have just set someone else up there. Tough angle.
A couple players converge and point to Frankfort again as we're starting to see Clinton Central. They got into this point in set one where they were up 3-4. They even had a 5-point lead in set one. And it all dwindled away pretty quickly. Evans on the set. And able to get the kill that time, I believe, was Davison. Nope, Serber.
And if you didn't know for sure, the crowd let you know.
Evans on the set. In between two girls that time. Air gives the point to Frankfort. Substitution as McAtee comes in. Good strong serve. Clinton Central somehow they're in scramble mode right now, but they kept that one alive. The overplay there, Rockhold there to make them pay for it. The freshmen's really had some bright, shining moments this season for Frankfort.
She played great, I thought, the other night against Tipton.
Tough serve here. And Clinton Central is going to take a timeout. That allows us some time to thank our sponsors for tonight's game. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by Aaron's Flooring, offering luxury vinyl plank, carpet installation, and more. Visit aaronsflooringllc.com for more information or call 765-601-4145 for a free quote. Tonight's game also brought to us by Ardente Dental, where they offer high-tech dentistry with a personal touch. Whether you're a brand new patient or have been with them for years, they're here to serve you. Give them a call at 654-7222. or visit them online at ardentedental.com. Ardente Dental, we bring smiles to life. There's a good look inside the huddle of Frankfort. Head coach Kia Rushton. Tanya Olivas there on the coaching staff. I love the fact that she stayed in tune with the game. She missed her senior season, tore her ACL, missed part of the basketball season as well. Got to come back and play in that alumni game, which I thought was great. And
yeah,
she still looked good, like she could play the part. But now back as an assistant coach on Coach Rushton's squad. Clinton Central out of the timeout as Davison tries to punch it across and Rockhold's there to stuff it. Frankfort has erased that lead from Clinton Central and now have a lead of their own by 2.
I love Coach Rushton's approach to this team this year. And getting all of these players lots and lots of playing time, lots of experience.
That was close, but it ruled out, gives a point back to Clinton Central. 14-13, the Bulldogs within one. This Clinton Central Bulldog team, one that 2-4 in conference play. Everybody kind of chasing Eastern and Clinton Prairie. I don't know if that anybody's going to catch them. Rossville sits there at 4-1. Sheridan and Delphi both at 4-2. I believe Clinton Prairie is playing Eastern tonight.
They are.
And that will be basically for the conference if can stay undefeated the rest of the way. Clinton Prairie 9-9. They're sitting at 500.
And they still have Rossville on Thursday, so even if they would win tonight, they have to beat Rossville on Thursday. But Rossville plagued by injuries right now.
Again, Thursday's broadcast, one that we will have for you right here on ISC. Speaking of, we want to welcome all of our viewers, whether you're watching us live on TV tonight on ISC, on one of our social media platforms, on the ISC Sports Network app, or even on the Champions Network. All of our broadcasts are shared there as well on the IHSAA website. I want to thank you for tuning in. 16-15, a close set here in set two. Go to Rockhold, and Rockhold puts a little too much on this one. With her being just a freshman, she's got great power. She's got great height, Laura. Now she starts to, I'm sure, get into the weight room and strengthen the lower body where she'll get a little bit more leaping ability. She's going to be scary in a couple years.
She will. And I love, like I said, I love how Kia has really coached this team this year. Like Rockhold, just having her play in the front row, just having her get adjusted to playing that, not having to worry about the back row, not putting too much pressure on her. You know, we may see next year she starts playing her all the way around, and that'll help build some of that leg strength as well, and that court awareness. So it'll be interesting to see how some of those players that are just playing front or back row, how they progress over the next year or two.
Justine Thomas with the miss hit there. Sends it too long of the court, gives the point to Clinton Central. Now a service error from the Bulldogs. Gives a point right back to Frankfort. For Coach Melissa Perry, this is her second year as the varsity head coach. She's in her 6th season overall, though, as an assistant coach or in the coaching program at Clinton Central. Get a point here for Frankfort, 19-17. She's also coached for Denny Crum's Civic Volleyball Club the last couple of years.
Yep, up at Carroll.
The timeout here. It's important that you know that there's hope, right? Going back to the mental health awareness, you want to always have that light at the end of the tunnel. You want to know that it's there. Mental health is not a destination, it's a process. And humans have such a wide range of emotions, and that's okay. But if you need help or you're struggling, we want to make sure that you know you got to reach out. There is help available. You're not your diagnosis. Right?
Correct.
You can break that. There is hope, and there's a million different ways that you can get there, but you've got to be committed to wanting to help yourself and being able to see and acknowledge, I got a problem and I need to find some resources to help me out.
Right. No other diagnosis do we let define us, right? If you have a high blood pressure, we don't let that be your diagnosis,
Sure.
right? We don't let that be who you are, right? Same with mental health. If you suffer from depression, that's a symptom, right? That's not what defines you as a person. It's just one of those things about you, right? If you have high blood pressure, you have high blood pressure. It's not who you are, right? And same thing with mental health. It doesn't define the person that you are. It's just part of you, not the whole. And there's always hope.
There's always hope, and it's sometimes just as your own self. I know that I've done this on my own, is like changing some of the verbiage that I use. Instead of saying I have to do something, is saying I get to do something. Because the alternative, it could be worse, you know. Thankfully, the good Lord wakes me up every day, right? I get to fill my lungs with the breath, and as long as that's happening, I want to be thankful for the things that I have, and sometimes that's not always a lot. Other times it's plentiful.
It's amazing what perspective does,
For sure.
right? So if you change your outlook, you change your perspective, it can change your outcomes. And you're right. Sometimes it's just the way you look at things. Change that perspective, and you can change the way you look at things. You can change the outcomes.
Yeah, I think it's great to one, acknowledge that you need help, know where you can find those resources, and then get the treatment that's going to help you get there. And usually there is something, an event, I don't know, there's something tied to what's bringing that depression on. And once you can get that treated and, like you said, change your perspective on it, a lot of times you just feel this release and you feel so much better afterwards.
And like you said, you don't want to make a decision that is a permanent decision to a temporary situation.
21-21 here at Clinton Central in the timeout. The Bulldogs have done a nice job. They had a lead. They squandered it. Now they've fought back here. They've tied things up. You can see their senior Georgia Evans.
She's like, give me that ball. I am ready.
And that's what you love to see. Coming out of the timeout, positive attitude, ready to rock and roll.
This is what county rivalries are about. I love these close games. We saw Frankfort and Prairie last week, Frankfort Central here today. I just love these matches. So fun to watch. Anything can happen.
Well, the bragging rights are on the line, and a lot of times, you know, there's family members across the other side of the net, and what else you want to talk about around the Christmas fire and eating grandma's Christmas cookies?
Absolutely.
You want a reminder that, hey, we got you earlier this year.
A lot of times we see cousins playing cousins, you know, and you know there's a lot of bragging that goes on off of the court too. So it's a lot of fun.
Clinton Central with a 1-point lead. Now Evans off the top of the net gets another one to drop in here, and Clinton Central now 2 points away. And that's going to cause a timeout from Frankfort. Tonight's game brought to us by Mulberry Telecommunications. Let them be the first to welcome you to the fiberhood. Mintel Fiber Optic Services offer super fast, reliable internet with gigabit speed, streaming TV packages, and voice solutions. Sign up today at mintel.net. That's MINTEL.net, or call 765-296-2885 for more information. Now serving the town of Jefferson, right outside of Frankfort, serving rural Clinton County, around the Mulberry, Frankfort area, and ready to unveil services in Cutler, Flora, and Bringhurst. Make sure you sign up.
I don't even know where Cutler is.
Straight up 75.
Okay. They go to Carroll then?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Out of the timeout, Frankfort responds. They take a point right back, 23-22. And now substitutions come in here. This is where Addie Keck comes in to serve, number 14. The sophomore, and they bring back freshman Lily Rockhold as well. Good block at the net that time by Perry and Smith. And this one, ruled in. That was out. It seemed anyway. And now
they overruled the
overrules.
line judge. Yes.
And in fairness, they use players from the JV team. They do their best out there. We felt sorry for the girl at Clinton Prairie the other night because there were so many that were so close.
There were. I did feel bad for her. And
I wouldn't have known which way to rule it.
Yeah, I did feel sorry for her. And, you know, from our viewpoint, it's not always easy to tell, but she certainly seemed to be paying attention. It just, it appeared like she had a lot of very close ones to try and call.
This serve a little too long, and now we are all tied up at 24. Got to win by 2 even though you played at 25. And again, how about this? Set 1 was 25-21. Pretty darn close, and here we are in set number 2. 24 apiece. Atmosphere's rocking here at Clinton Central. And here's the kill there. Carly Davison, the sophomore. She's had some big moments for Clinton Central, both in basketball and volleyball.
You know, she's just a really great athlete. Comes from an athletic family, and just a great athlete.
And there, Clinton Central able to get the ace, and then hopefully everybody's all right after the celebration. But Clinton Central steals set 2, 26-24. We're all knotted up at 1 set apiece. We'll be back right after this.
I brought you a present. A book.
Follow the adventures of the Ardente Dental team as they fight cavities, gum disease, and create beautiful, healthy smiles.
Inconceivable!
Hello, my name is Dr. Snyder. You cause cavities. Prepare to die.
Inconceivable!
To make your smile look straight and fine, our braces per month are just $1.99.
Inconceivable!
You keep using that word, I do not think it means what you think it means.
Have fun at Ardente Dental.
Many communities in rural America are often overlooked as underserved. These communities are being left behind due to lack of internet and access to state-of-the-art technology. That's why Mulberry Telecommunications provides rural broadband services and technology and is growing their presence in north central Indiana. Because every community deserves infrastructure and beyond. To learn more, contact us today.
Leaps ahead, still on his feet. Stevens lunges. Are you kidding me? Champions of Marion County. Unbelievable. Touchdown.
Living up to that last day. Wabash has the lead for the first time today. So that was going to be a highlight reel. Oh, baby.
Yeah, you can celebrate after that.
Welcome back to Clinton Central High School tonight. Set number 3 ready to get underway. 25-21, Frankfort 26-24, Clinton Central. It's Mental Health Night. We're trying to spread some cheer and some awareness. And what a better way to do that than Sweet Caroline playing in the background, right?
You can't be sad when this song's on, right?
I'm sure that we'll get muted across all social media platforms because of copyright issues. But hey, it's Sweet Caroline. You got to get fired up for it. A great night of volleyball here on the network, a great night of raising awareness about mental health where you matter. And we want you to know that. We want to you see in the background you've got your dancers there, and they are rocking the You Matter Healthy Communities t-shirts tonight.
They look like they're on fast forward somehow.
Yeah, I don't know that their dance moves necessarily go with the song. However, I can't dance a lick either, so you know it is.
Hey, they're happy, and dancing is a sign of joy, so we'll take it.
Just a few seconds here before we get rolling in set number 3, and a fantastic night of volleyball. We're keeping a close eye on that Clinton Prairie Eastern game as Clinton Prairie took set number 1 over there, and that one is got some conference implications.
This is a great night.
So we'll let you know as updates roll in from that one as well. Again, Rossville, Clinton Prairie on Thursday night. And if Prairie pulls out the win tonight, which we would consider a little bit of an upset because Eastern's got a great overall record this year.
They do.
Pull it out. then not only is Thursday a mental health night, but it is a conference championship night.
Correct. If they would win tonight, they at least have a share, but they could win outright on Thursday. So
could be all the marbles.
It could be.
All the marbles. Big swing from Clinton Central, and another point here for the Bulldogs as Carly Davison hits that one across. Clinton Central, much like they have in sets 1 and 2, out to an early lead. Georgia Evans on the serve. Boy, she is really dialing in that serve here of late.
Outside the antenna.
Frankfort seems a little out of sorts. Evans has got that low trajectory and it just kind of dies. But a great job by Frankfort that time to get it across. Davidson couldn't keep it in play for Clinton Central, and Frankfort's on the board.
And Jalen Smith, once again, just that little dump in the middle. The wings there for Clinton Central need to start picking up on that.
Evans on the set. Kill too strong there from Rydens. 3-2, Justine Thomas is at the service line for Frankfort. 5'5" junior. Third on the team in kills this season is Thomas, and Rydens makes up for the missed swing a moment ago and brings the power there. Frankfort goes to Rockhold. Perry on the set, middle. Quick set from Smith. Clinton Central that time ready for it. And then Serber tries to go for the kill. This one into the net. Point for Frankfort and right back to a 1-point game again.
I think 5 points is maybe the biggest lead we've seen all night. It's just been really close all evening.
Yeah, we saw a 5-point lead from Clinton Central when they led 13-8 in set 1. And then it was a 9-point swing. As Frankfort erased that and took a lead of their own.
Double hit.
Double hit the rule here. I just like to reiterate it in case I didn't hear you say it. I want to make sure I get it out there as well. Queen on the serve. Serber. Too strong, not touched by Frankfort. Point for the Hot Dogs. Clinton Central High School, home of the Bulldogs. Some history here with this volleyball squad. 14 sectional championships. Most of those came after the turn of the century there in year 2000. They've won 12 sectional titles in the last 23 years. Had a few lean years the last couple of seasons. That's something that Coach Melissa Perry wants to change. Evans, quick set there, goes a little wide of the court.
And she has the chance here to build this program back up like we talked about earlier. Plays mostly, underclassmen, so definitely has a bright future.
2 regional championships as well for this Clinton Central squad. 2004, 2005, they did it in back-to-back seasons. Smith, jump serve. Evans goes right back to the middle there, looking for Serber. Serber's just been a little bit off tonight. When she's put some power into it, she's been long. We've seen quite a few of those where they just come off her hand wrong and they've been into the net.
Then when she tries to roll it, she just seems to have not quite enough on it. There's one.
Much better swing that time, as Laura alluded to. Point back for Clinton Central. 8-6 as things remain close here in set 3. Great hustle that time from the Bulldogs, but unable to track it down. You love to see the effort. That's the one thing that you cannot coach. You can try to discipline people into effort, but they've got to want to bring it on their own.
Yeah, and if you remember at the beginning, I said you never have to tell Courtney Serber to go for a ball. That was her diving from the front middle to the back corner for a ball. She's just one of those players. She's instinctual to where the ball's going to go, and she's never going to give up. That's just the person she is.
Serber, the player we're discussing right now, at the service line for Clinton Central. Bulldogs trailing by 2. That was like a county matchup, but it's a battle of the dogs tonight. You got the Hot Dogs and the Bulldogs.
You do. I think that was 4 hits on the Hot Dogs. Didn't get the block on that. It's always nice to have the battle of the dogs.
Thomas that time hits that one into the net. Block was in position there to get it as well. The Serbers rattled off a few points in a row, and we're all knotted at 9 apiece. McAtee punches that one across for Frankfort. Swing from Clinton Central. What do we got here?
Double hit. No, 4 hits, saying it didn't hit the block. Kind of a little delay on that call. Nice hit.
Good swing there from Eden Speaks. The lefty drives one home, all tied up at 10. If you're a Clinton Central Bulldog fan, as they get another point here, make sure you tune in next week. We've got another home match as Clinton Prairie comes to town. We'll have, why not keep the Clinton County rivalry going? Not necessarily a mental health awareness night, but good night for volleyball either way. That's on October 5th. Morgan Harrington headed back to the service line now for Frankfort. So we're deadlocked at 11. Any more updates from the Clinton Prairie Eastern match as of yet?
Trying to get some.
Perry goes middle. Doesn't have to put a ton on it this time. Just perfect placement there from Brooklyn. And the student section wants to make sure everyone in the gym knows that her name is Brooklyn Perry.
There are 2 Perrys playing tonight, so they just want to make sure that is clear.
Nice coverage that time as Davison hustles to the ball.
That was a great dig.
Smith, quick set. Got Clinton Central again. As when she notices that space between your front and back row, she is attacking.
Yep, and she is leading the Hot Dogs in kills this evening.
That one comes off the side of the hand of Harrington. Service error gives a point to the Bulldogs. For Coach Rushton, she's been at the helm of Frankfort now for quite some time. She's the most tenured coach in the county. I'm not saying that to make her feel old, but she's
sure she appreciates that.
She's the longest active coach in the county.
And has done a great job with this Frankfort program. I told last year, I remember us talking, last year probably one of her best coaching seasons ever. Not her best record, but she did a fantastic job.
We talked about Clinton Central being maybe just a year or two away from kind of seeing the fruits of the labor and playing a lot of these younger players. This great hustle and scramble from both teams there. Point goes to Frankfort. But really, Frankfort's in that same boat.
Absolutely.
I mean, next year they lose Tiffany Zhang. Tiffany is in rotation. We see her from time to time come in and do some serving and things. But for the most part, 99.9% of this Frankfort squad comes back next year.
They do, and I have no idea what our 8th grade class looks like, but she is definitely returning most of her active players.
Looks like we may have an injury on the floor there as Chelsea Rydens goes to the sideline. Usually they'll stop play here if there's, blood or whatever the technical term they use during sporting events.
Body fluids.
There you go. Get a Band-Aid, get you back out on the floor, and they make sure things are cleaned up. It's a great opportunity, though, with the timeout to, talk about 988. Reaching out is a sign of strength. There is hope. Tomorrow needs you. If you or someone you know is struggling, call or text 988. It's the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. You can call it. You can text it. There's even a QR code on the screen right there. Take your phone up to our screen, bring up your camera, boom, it'll take you right where you need to go.
It will. That has a lot of great resources there. 988, it's the crisis hotline. It actually gets answered locally by Mental Health America. That crisis hotline is manned 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Rockhold gets the point there for Frankfort. As now they have a 4-point lead here. We were just tied up at 10 or 11. Frankfort starting to find their groove late in set 3. Perry there for the block. She put the roof on the house.
She did.
One-handed roof on the house. But she still got it. Timeout here lets us thank our friends at Day and Ginda Funeral Home, where they believe in putting family first. As active members of the community, they know that when dealing with a loss, seeing a familiar face and being treated like family is important. Day and Ginda Funeral Home will serve your family in a unique and loving way. For more information about the services Day and Ginda Funeral Homes offer, please visit dayandginda.com. You see the You Matter shirts in the background, Frankfort student sections, the majority of them wearing some form of purple back there to represent mental health awareness.
I love when the student section is representing. In Frankfort, they have a great student section. It's mostly boys, and they come out and they really support the girls.
Tiffany Zhang at the service line, the lone senior for Frankfort. Swing that time a little too strong from Davison. We talked about the all-around game from Serber earlier, the senior. You really get that same in Davison, just a couple of years younger. Davison came in with 61 kills, 14 aces, and 97 digs.
Yeah, she is a great athlete. She's a good basketball player as well. Just a great all-around athlete.
Tough serve. Nice job by Frankfort to try to keep it in play. But a point here for the Bulldogs.
Chelsea Rydens has served very well for them this evening.
What a save by Carolyn Queen. That was unbelievable. Near the bench of Frankfort to even have the awareness of what angle to try to keep that in play.
That was amazing.
Clinton Central plays it across. Diving effort here, and credit the Bulldogs for not losing their composure or
Yep, they
having
stuck
a meltdown
with
on
it.
their own after
They
that
stuck
save.
with it for sure.
Smith, quick set. Bulldogs not ready for it. That's at least the 4th or 5th time tonight that has paid off for the sophomore. And now the freshman Queen heads back to the service line. I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I don't know that there's another player this year that I've watched that has amazed me as many times as Carolyn Queen has from Frankfort.
Yeah, she
just
is impressive.
Defense is amazing.
Great block again by Clinton Central.
And that's not to take anything away from Abby Swan at Clinton Prairie or Jalen Smith even here from Frankfort. You know, Courtney Serber, Carly Davison. It's just Queen is a freshman. She's not supposed to be doing the things that she does, and she has been rock steady every time we've covered Frankfort.
And you've just been, I mean, you said defense. Another nice effort by Queen.
4 hits here for the Hot Dogs, gives a point back to Clinton Central. 19-17 now.
I think if, we're looking at a defensive player in the entire county, obviously Queen's at the top of the list.
Great strong serve there from Davison. Bulldogs within 1. There are many, Carly just a sophomore, looking ahead to the basketball season. There are many that think she may contend and beat out her sister's all-time scoring record.
Yes.
Her older sister, the only female scorer, I believe, that's over the 1,000 career point mark. And Carly's got 3 more seasons to catch her, and what bragging rights that would be in the household, right?
Yeah, and I think she could do it.
Timeout taken here as things are all tied up at 19. Remember that mental health is just as important as your physical health. Asking for help is the first step. You are more precious to this world than you will ever know, and you are enough. There was a saying that used to be in my bathroom. It was on a, little pretty thing that my wife bought to put in there, right? But it said, to the world, you may just be one person. Or in this world, you may just be one person, but to one person, you may be the world. And that always stuck with me, and that's something that you have to remember. Your decisions that you make in life affect other people.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, too many times that permanent decision is something that everyone else now permanently has to deal with and live with and miss, countless holidays and things that roll around and anniversaries of memories that they don't want to have. And for me personally, I would never want to put that on someone else. And so I've known that there's been times in my life where I've reached out, whether it's been a pastor in a church, it was a counselor in school, a friend, and you talked earlier about an adult. I had a good friend of mine whose father was a great person in my life that I was able to reach out to numerous times, an uncle that I was close to growing up. And so, I get those are, I just named off a bunch of resources that I had, but people have more than they know sometimes. And it's good to just find that person you can speak to, whether they could be a complete stranger.
That's what I was just about to say. Sometimes it's easier to talk to strangers.
Sure.
And that's one of the things that I think that we overlook sometimes is that some people would rather talk to a stranger. And so sometimes that is a possibility. One of the great things COVID had so many negative things, right?
Right.
But one of the great things from COVID is that there are now lots of group therapies that are in support groups that are ran on Zoom calls and groups calls. And you can be in a support group with people from all over the country, from different countries, that you're never going to see in real life, right? And so you can feel free to share and talk, and there's no fear that you're ever going to see this person. So, you can have complete and utter honesty and full disclosure, and you're never worried about it. And it's something that happens a lot. There's a online mental health resource we use called Charlie Health. And a lot of teenagers love it because of the anonymity that goes with it.
Yeah.
And they can be in these groups and they don't know anybody because no one's even from their state.
The one thing I can tell you for me personally, every time I dealt with something or went through something, when I talked to somebody, whether I knew them or not, I felt better afterwards. A lot of times it's just taking that breath, finding someone, getting it off of your chest, getting some feedback, and finding a healthy way to move forward. And, you know, it may take several conversations, but find that resource for you.
Yeah, and
whether
sometimes
it's
just
988, whatever it is.
Yeah, sometimes just knowing that someone cares enough to listen, right?
For sure. (22-20), fresh out of the timeout. Frankfort trying to take a 2-1 set lead. Clinton Central trying to stave them off here and see if they can take a 2-1 set lead themselves. Frankfort inches closer now.
All of these games have been really close.
Ashley Zhang sends that one too far. Now back at the service line is Courtney Serber. Leads the team with 23 aces on the season coming in. And a great serve here.
Clinton Central pulls to within one.
About these Bulldogs, they're showing a lot of fight and grit tonight. Something that's got to make Coach Perry happy. She said, you know, that just occasionally they have meltdowns when things don't go their way, and you get an unforced error here that gives a crucial point to Frankfort. We'll see how they respond. She said the biggest thing she wanted to do this year is get the team to believe in their own abilities and finish the games. And right there, you just had a service error, but you fight right back. Now 24-23. Clinton Central came from behind at the end of set two. They ended up winning that one 26-24. Perry too strong. What we saw a minute ago out of Olivia Perry from the service line, it wasn't necessarily an aggressive serve, but it was a safe serve. Just put it in bounds and make Frankfort do something with it.
Yeah, and certainly much better than another error. Cannot make two serving errors in a row.
Tonight's game brought to us by the Frankfort Eagles, serving the community since 1905 with 900 members locally. The Frankfort Eagles offer something for everyone. For more information on who they are and what they do, visit FOE.com or stop by the Frankfort Eagles at 408 North Main Street in Frankfort. I want to thank all of our sponsors that make these games possible. Tonight we've talked a lot about mental health and mental health awareness as part of one of our two games here in the fall that we will have that's a mental health night. But all of our sponsors take part in helping us put these events on, these games on, and I can't thank them enough. I can't thank you enough, Laura, not just for coming on here and calling these games with me, but helping sponsor, helping the community with all the resources that Healthy Communities has. You're an awesome person, my friend.
Thank you. It's part of our job that I feel like, we could never do enough, and, we can't ever have enough partners in this. So we thank IHSAA and Mulberry Telecommunications for partnering for I don't even know how many years now, Sean, doing
I lost track. Yeah,
me too, doing the mental health games with us. It's a great way to get the message out and reach more people, so we appreciate it.
I often thought that there weren't very many people that worked more hours or were in more places than I was, as you get the point here for Frankfort, until I saw you on social media, and you were in every single photo that is taken in Clinton County, whether they're unveiling a new business, a new division of what Healthy Communities is doing. You're all over the place.
I do work a lot of hours.
I'm trying to think you have a twin or a clone. It's not just presidents that do that, right? They have a double.
That's right.
25 all.
When you love what you do, it makes it not work.
a heck of a set three here. Both teams fighting for what's really a crucial turning point in tonight's match.
Nice dig.
Yeah, powerful hit and Serber there.
What's been interesting, though, is that this has been back and forth, but it's been unforced errors by each other, not necessarily kills by either team.
Smith goes outside this time to Thomas. Davison scrambles to get there. Clinton Central done a much better job the last few times that Jalen Smith has tried that quick set.
Absolutely.
Back row dig, what a point. Whoever earns this one earns it.
What
Probably
a great
Davison.
rally.
She said enough is enough. 26-25, Clinton Central putting the pressure on the hot dogs.
That was a great rally. If that doesn't get you fired up, nothing will.
Set number 2 took extra points to get it done. Why would set 3 be any different? Perry fights through the block that time and ties things up at 26. Rockhold comes back in. Addie Keck comes in for Frankfort. She'll handle the serving duties here.
I haven't been tracking substitutions for Frankfort, but anytime it's a close game that goes extra points, that is a concern for Frankfort.
Davison that time hits it into the net. Point to Frankfort. Now they have advantage here. Set point. The sophomore Keck at the line. The overpass. Perry makes him pay. Brooklyn saw that like an all-you-can-eat buffet. Hammers it down to take set 3. 28-26 Frankfort. We'll step aside when we come back. Set number 4 heads your way right here on the ISC Sports Network.
Frankfort Eagles 976 has bingo every Wednesday night. Early birds beginning at 6 p.m. and regular bingo starting at 7 p.m. Packets are $25 and includes every game you need to play. They also have Saturday bingo the first Saturday of every month, with early birds starting at 4 p.m. and regular bingo starting at 5 p.m. Big game payouts each game with 3 to 4 chances to win different jackpot games each day. Great for individuals or groups because everyone enjoys winning lots of money. You must be 18 years or older to play.
Some see a student athlete working hard in the weight room. We see a future leader learning there are no shortcuts to success. Some see a start to a swim meet. We see the starting blocks for life. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Follow the adventures of the IHSAA dental team as they fight cavities, gum disease, and create beautiful small.
Reason they fall here for, Laura, I think they're going to look back at the end of set 3 and think they let one get away because they had that advantage.
Yep, I agree.
Clinton Central once again, all 4 sets tonight, they have started out with the first point. They've had some good leads.
They just have had trouble closing the deal.
Clinton Central keen to that move from Smith now. It's Perry in the middle. A good effort from Davison, and then a smart play to send it to the back row and let Clinton Central's players regroup on the floor.
You mentioned it at the end of set 3, but Clinton Central doing a much better job picking up that tip. You know, it seems like conferences change a lot now.
Yeah.
That didn't used to be the case, but it seems like that's much more common now than it used to be.
Yeah, trying to find the balance between travel and what's going to draw good crowds and competitive balance. I think there's a lot of that goes into it. You know, you also get some bad taste in your mouth from time to time with opponents and just want to switch that up. And But, yeah, there's definitely been a lot of changes where, I mean, the Sagamore Conference as it stands today has been that way as long as I can remember. These are the same teams that were there 26 years ago to my knowledge.
Decision.
The timeout here early in set 4, 6-2 your score. You know, something that is I'm curious about, though, with Frankfort and Lebanon, that's always been their biggest rivalry, and now they won't be a conference opponent. So I'm interested to see if they at least keep a regular season matchup, because that's always been where, you know, crowds travel back and forth really good. They've even done double headers in basketball.
I would think with that being close to each other that you would think that they would want to keep each other on the schedule.
Frankfort this year just 1-4 in conference play. Tri-West leading the way at 6-0 in the Sagamore Conference. Western Boone at 4-0. So those two teams, much like what you see in the Hoosier Heartland with Eastern at the top, Clinton Prairie right below them.
I believe that Prairie is up 2-1 at Clinton Prairie this evening volleyball.
They're facing Eastern, so huge match, and then again it adds more valor or whatever you want to call it to Thursday night. More intrigue.
Yes, certainly could make Thursday night very interesting.
7-2, Frankfort now opening up a 5-point lead. This is their biggest lead of the night that I remember.
I believe you're correct.
As Davison hits this one into the net, it feels like the air kind of went out of the building at the end of set 3.
It's hard to lose two close ones like that, you know.
Queen at the line. Service error here gives the ball back to Clinton Central. Now we'll see if they can kind of revive. They've played so well there in set number 2 and 3. They were right there in set 1 as well.
You know, and that's what you found with these Bulldogs all year long is, you know, they're not getting skunked by teams. They're in matches. They just can't seem to put those matches away. You know, that they're always really close, but they just don't win.
You know, learning to win, learning how to win, that is part of the game. I mean,
it is.
There's an aspect to this. We've seen in the past a different sport underachieve. In baseball for a long time, we saw the best teams that money could buy. Yankees, Dodgers, teams like that barely make the playoffs. Here is Chloe Mal back in, the freshman.
Clinton just lost 20-24, so going.
You'd want to have it, right? It's both teams undefeated in conference play. Now it's a race to 15.
Well, I think if you're Coach Martin, you just soon get that done in 4-1. So
that pass a little too long there from the Bulldogs, and now trailing by 7.
Jalen Smith has served really dogs.
And as you say that, the broadcaster jinx comes into full effect.
That would be the second time I've jinxed her tonight.
So Bulldogs trail by 6. Trickles that one across the net. Been a very well officiated contest tonight. Hats off to Stacy Payton and Chris Rickenbach. Kept things moving right along. Not a lot of rotations and stoppages and things of that nature going to the scorebooks. It's been whistle to whistle, keeping us moving right along.
Nice kill there by Eden Speaks. She's kind of quiet. She comes in, subs in on that front row, but she has a really high hitting percentage.
Yeah, when given the opportunity tonight, she's looked. She's always mind. The left-handed hitters, you don't see a lot of pitch ball. Get them, you know they're there.
Clinton Central's had a very even attack, 4 or 5 players with, several kills here. I mean, that's a good something.
Good kill there, lands in the middle of the floor. Clinton Central not going away quietly. They trailed by 7, they've cut it to 4.
Yeah, Clinton Central has at least 5 players with 3 kills.
Aggressive serve trying to go down the line. They hit out of bounds. Gives the serve right back to the Hot Dogs. This is Ella McAtee. Couple of Bulldogs there, miscommunication as they both put a swing on it. I think one hit the ball, the other hit the other.
Yeah, I agree.
Timeout taken here to talk it over, a 6-point game. And we want to thank Healthy Communities of Clinton County. We've talked about mental health all night long, but as you said earlier, recovery and mental health go kind of hand in hand, and we've seen that. So we want to highlight, and the Healthy Communities of Clinton County want to make sure you know recovery is possible. If you or someone you love is struggling with addiction, reach out to Healthy Communities at 659-6063 or go online at healthyclintoncounty.org. And that ties in a little bit of the Trinity Hope Center. Mm-hmm. Did I say that correctly?
You did. Yes.
As something that's opened up in the recent months, and pretty cool facility and what you've got going on there. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so we opened in May, the Trinity Hope Center, and it's a recovery activity center. So we have our peer recovery coaches there, system of care navigation, and then we do evidence-based programming there. We have NA meetings there, and then we also just have pro-social activities. So it's a safe place with like-minded individuals who are safe to be around, doing safe things. So it's a really neat place, and we have a lot of people living in recovery who come together to do really fun activities there.
I've seen videos and footage. You guys got snacks.
Oh, yeah.
When it was hot, people could come in and cool down. They could charge their devices. You put on karaoke.
Absolutely.
Where they could come in and sing and be the next America's Got Talent star.
Yep, it is a really good time. We kind of share up coming in, especially on Saturday evenings, and I have to be honest, like karaoke's my favorite.
There
so
14-10. Laura sings some crazy Stevie Nicks in addition to her other many talents.
I don't know that I'm talented at it, but I do like me some Stevie Nicks.
Swing there from Davison into the net. 5-point lead. Morgan Harrington checks in here for the Hot Dogs.
Clinton Central needs to be aware Jalen Smith just rotated to the front row, so she'll like to try her little jump set into the middle of the court.
Swing from the back row. Serber, too much on at that time. 6-point lead for Frankfort. Set number 4 starting to slip away from the Bulldogs. Good diving effort and save.
Nice
Frankfort
defense.
somehow keeps it in play. And then Davison too strong that time. You can see her clapping her hands. She thought she had one.
Yeah, that line shot's open. I mean, I take a little off of that. It doesn't have to be so hard, but Definitely line shot is open.
Set goes middle. And there it is.
Perfect.
That back corner open. Able to find the play that time, I believe, was number 4, Chelsea Rydens.
That corner's open, whether they're hitting outside or middle.
Georgia Evans subs in. She'll have the serve here as the Bulldogs trail by 6. They go middle to Perry. Evans there. Go outside to Thomas. Justine puts a little extra on that one, drives it home for the Hot Dogs. Now Tiffany Zhang headed back to the service line. Perry knocks that one home for the Hot Dogs. Davison misses the court once again. Frankfort now with a 9-point lead. Tiffany Zhang on the serve. Frankfort just 5 points away from closing this match out here tonight and taking their 9th straight against their county opponent.
Good job by Clinton Central again to pick up that tip by Smith. Clinton Central just looking very discouraged now.
22-11 as Frankfort has doubled them up here in set 4, and really the final score that's probably going to be here in set 4. Obviously anything can happen, but it is not going to be indicative of the match that we saw here tonight.
No, because Clinton Central really until this game has played very, very well. Nice hit.
Yeah, good hit.
Job by Carly Davison.
I like the never quit attitude. And that's inspiring, too, coming from one of your sophomores, obviously one of the better players on the team.
She's so
Carly,
competitive.
Yeah. I mean, that's the type of stuff that rubs off on the rest of the team.
Yeah. Yeah, she is so competitive. You see her clapping her hands, encouraging her teammates. She has that never die attitude. That's one of those things you can't teach people, right?
Absolutely. I know back when I was coaching youth sports, it was one of the first speeches I gave every year. I can teach you this game. I can't make you want to do it. You got to bring that yourself.
Chelsea Rydens has served amazing tonight. It's at least 5 aces for her.
Queen sends it over. The punch across. Rockhold there. They go back to Rockhold. The block there from Clinton Central. And again, the block doesn't count as a hit.
Correct. Good job by Courtney Serber there to stay out of the net.
Some fight shown from these Bulldogs here as it was just an 11-point game a moment ago. They rattled off a few in a row. Keeping it going as Rydens is right at home behind the service line tonight. Thomas checks in. That one off the shoulder of Harrington, but bounced right to a teammate. Queen unable to get enough on this one to send it back over the net. We've seen her make some amazing plays tonight, but that one was nearly impossible. And now a timeout taken by Frankfort. Coach Rushton a little fired up right there in the huddle as she's seen her Hot Dogs lose quite a few points in a row here.
Yeah, she just wants them to calm down, get a side out. One pass. They need one pass. And honestly, Rydens is serving amazing, but you need one pass.
Remember that you are loved, you are enough, you are a gift to this world. Your story is not over yet. You can call or text 988 for help. That quote I just read to you is what is on the back of this year's mental health awareness shirts. You see it on your screen there. 988 is the 911 for mental health.
It is.
I like how you said that earlier. I had to steal it.
It is. It is.
Out of the timeout, back to volleyball, a 6-point lead for Frankfort. As Coach Rushton took that timeout trying to settle the troops. Bulldogs not just going to go away quietly into the night here tonight. It looked a moment ago as this one had all but gotten away from them. And I should have known better. As soon as I started talking that direction, they would turn things around.
They
That's
just
typically
decided,
what happens.
yeah, they just decided to prove you wrong.
Down just 5. What a comeback this would be. Before that error there, it was 7 straight points for the Bulldogs. They were down 23-11. Now Queen with a chance here at match point. Carolyn sends it across. Frankfort with an opportunity. They go to Rockhold.
Nice dig.
They got to get it across here, and 2 players looking at each other. And unfortunately, that's how tonight's match is going to end. 25-18, your final here in set number 4. Frankfort takes tonight's match 3-1. Laura, it's been an awesome night talking about mental health awareness and getting to cover some volleyball with you. What's your final thoughts on this game and then whatever else you would like to add to tonight's coverage?
I think it's been a great match. I love when we have these county games, and I love that it was close for all 4 games. It was a nice job, dogs versus dogs, and they both fought really hard, and I really loved how the balance on both teams. It wasn't like we had great standout players on either side, making our player of the game really hard to decide because both teams had really balanced play. Several players stepping up to the plate and playing amazing this evening.
And to that point, tonight's Frankfort Eagles Clinton County player of the game is going to be none other than Jalen Smith. I thought that she was just definitely the difference maker for the Hot Dogs. You did as well.
Yeah.
And I was kind of asking you, what do you think? You said Jalen. I thought that was a perfect call.
Yeah, you know, she, especially in games 1 and 2 when things were really, really close, she had several kills. You know, I think she probably had to be one of the top kills leaders for the Hot Dogs tonight. And when you're also the assist leader, that speaks volumes. And she had at least 4 aces on the night from the service line as well. So great floor general tonight for the Hot Dogs.
Tonight's game was brought to you by the Frankfort Eagles, post number 976. They are people helping people. By Day and Genda Funeral Home, proud supporters of high school athletics in Clinton and Carroll County. By the Healthy Communities of Clinton County, making the healthy choice the easy choice. And by Mulberry Telecommunications, where their mental fiber services offer the best gig in town. One final time, we want to remind you that reaching out is a sign of strength. There is hope. Tomorrow needs you. If you or someone you know is struggling, call or text 988 and get the help that you need today. I want to thank our tremendous ISC sports crew for their coverage tonight. Please join us Thursday night as we bring you Act 2 in our Mental Health Week, our Clinton County rivalry games as the Clinton Prairie Gophers play host to the Rossville Hornets. And
Clinton Prairie just won.
Just won. So that makes that a really intriguing matchup Thursday night of what could be for the conference. For Laura Archibald, I'm Sean Walker. Everybody behind the scenes here at ISC, we appreciate you tuning in. Please join us again on Thursday night.
Mulberry Telecommunications is proud to announce the next generation in awesome, Mintel TV. With the Mintel TV streaming app, you aren't confined to just your TV, but you need two things: high-speed fiber internet from Mulberry Telecommunications and a Mintel TV subscription. Available on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, Android TV, and more, with features that include Cloud DVR, Restart TV, look-back options, and pause live TV. Mintel TV is definitely the next generation of awesome. Current customers, call 765-296-2885 for your free upgrade. New customers, visit Mintel.net to sign up today.